I've decided to start a new life without you." The words sliced through the air of the elegant restaurant where we'd gathered to celebrate my daughter's college graduation. My husband, of 28 years, Gregory, stood with his champagne glass raised, his supposed toast to Amelia's success replaced by his declaration of departure. The clinking of silverware stopped. Conversations froze. 50 pairs of eyes shifted between us, waiting for a dramatic scene, tears, shouting, an emotional breakdown. But instead, I smiled. "Congratulations on your honesty. My name is Bianca Caldwell, and I am 54 years old." Until that moment, I had been playing the perfect role, the loyal wife, the supportive mother. I had sacrificed my own dreams to lift Gregory through 3 failed business ventures, to career reinventions, and countless self-discovery phases. I raised our brilliant daughter, Amelia, who sat beside me now, frozen in disbelief, her graduation cap still perched on her head. From the corner of my eye, I noticed Cassandra Wells, Gregory's much younger mistress, squirming at a back table surrounded by people I once called friends. Friends who had clearly known about the affair and said nothing. The same Cassandra who had attended our Christmas parties and once phoned me for career advice. With calm precision, I reached into my purse and pulled out a sealed cream envelope. Placing it neatly beside Gregory's plate, I said, "Something for you to read later." His confident grin faltered. I turned to Amelia, kissed her cheek gently, and whispered, "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart. This day is still about you." Then I rose, smoothed my dress, and addressed the silent crowd. "Please, enjoy your meal. I wish you all a lovely afternoon." I walked out of the restaurant with my head held high, the sound of whispered confusion trailing behind me. As the heavy door shut, the muffled chaos disappeared, and I stepped into the humid Augusta summer air, heat pressing against my skin, freedom filling my lungs for the first time in years. Moments later, I heard the door slam open behind me. "Bianca, what the hell is this? What have you done?" Gregory's once sure voice cracked with panic. I didn't turn around. I kept walking, a small smile tugging at my lips. That envelope contained the beginning of a plan I had been carefully constructing for months. A plan of poetic justice. For nearly 3 decades, I had been the stable one, the pragmatic partner who paid bills, saved for Amelia's tuition, and worked long hours as a finance manager at Truvanta Corp, while Gregory chased every fleeting passion that came his way. His handcrafted furniture business had lasted 6 months. My own dream, starting a financial consultancy for women, had been placed on hold indefinitely. Then, 3 months ago, I noticed small, suspicious transfers from our joint account. Years of managing our finances had trained me to spot red flags instantly. Rather than confront him, I decided to investigate quietly. What I uncovered shattered any illusion of ignorance I might have had. Gregory had been funneling money into a hidden account for over a year, funding romantic dinners, jewelry, and even scouting beachfront property with Cassandra, all while claiming we needed to tighten our belts for retirement. And the final insult, text messages he accidentally left open, discussing their new life together, their plans for the day after Amelia's graduation, the day he planned to announce his freedom. What Gregory had failed to remember was that I'm a financial professional. I understand money trails, legal structures, and, most importantly, I remembered the prenuptial agreement we signed 28 years ago, the one he insisted upon, ironically, to protect his earnings. It contained a fidelity clause, one that would soon become his downfall. As he plotted his great escape, I was building a legal fortress. I met with attorneys, compiled evidence, tracked every hidden transaction, and quietly filed for divorce. The papers were already with the court served to him earlier that morning. He thought he was about to humiliate me in public. Instead, he announced his own ruin. When I returned home, the beautiful colonial house in Augusta's historic district he'd already promised to Cassandra, I found his suitcases tucked neatly in the closet, ready for his departure. Typical Gregory, organized with clothes, careless with consequences. My phone buzzed endlessly, messages from friends, from Amelia, from his sister Diana. I replied only to my daughter, "I'm okay, sweetheart. This isn't your burden. Enjoy your day. We'll talk tonight. I love you." A few hours later, Gregory stormed through the front door, face flushed, divorce papers in hand. "What the hell is this?" he barked. "You served me today. Of all days. I thought it aligned nicely with your plans," I said evenly. "You wanted a new life. I'm just speeding things along." "The prenup's expired," he snapped. "Any lawyer will tell you that." "Actually," I replied with a calm smile, "it hasn't. Section 12, the fidelity clause, remains in effect for the duration of the marriage. You might want to have your attorney confirm that. Oh wait, you didn't consult one, did you? The color drained from his face. The very document he had insisted upon to protect himself would now cost him everything: the house, our vacation property, his share of retirement funds. His grand restaurant confession had just become the most expensive toast of his life. You can't do this to me, he said weakly. You did this to yourself, I answered. He slumped onto the couch, trying another tactic. What about our history? 28 years together. Doesn't that mean anything? It meant everything, I said softly. That's why your betrayal cut so deep. For a fleeting second, I saw the man I'd once loved, the one who held my hand through heartbreaks, who surprised me with weekend trips, just because. But then I remembered the man who lied, schemed, and planned my public humiliation. This wasn't a mistake, Gregory, I said coldly. It was deliberate. You moved money, you scouted property, you planned your big reveal. He scoffed. You're exaggerating. I picked up my phone, opened the recorder, and pressed play. His voice filled the room. After the graduation, I'll tell her it's over. Public setting's better. She won't make a scene. And she has no idea about the money. Cassandra's voice followed. You're sure? Gregory again. Completely. Bianca trusts me. That's her weakness. His face turned ghost white. You recorded me. That's illegal. Not in Georgia, I replied. And not when it's my own home. He stood abruptly. I need to make some calls. Your attorney might be a good place to start, I said, picking up my purse. I'll be staying with Diana tonight. My sister, he stammered. She confronted you last Christmas, remember? You promised her it was nothing. When she realized it wasn't, she came to me. He stared at me in disbelief, whispering, everyone's betraying me. Ironic, isn't it? I said quietly. As I walked to the door, I added, you have until tomorrow to collect your things. After that, the locks change. And without looking back, I left the sound of his shattered pride echoing behind me. What about Amelia? Have you even considered how this will affect her? Gregory's words stopped me For the first time that day, the calm exterior I had maintained began to crack. Don't you dare bring our daughter into this, I warned, my voice sharp. You weren't thinking about Amelia when you were planning your new beachfront fantasy with Cassandra. His phone buzzed again. This time, he glanced at it and let out a low groan. Problem? I asked, watching him closely. Cassandra's already at the apartment, he muttered. She's moved her things and I couldn't help the smile that tugged at my lips. You mean the apartment you thought you'd leased together? The one you signed for last month? He frowned, confused. You might want to check with the leasing office. That application never went through. It was flagged for credit issues. The agent called our home to verify details. I took care of it personally. Without another word, I walked out, leaving Gregory to face the first of many unraveling threads in the web he'd spun. Diana's cozy bungalow sat near the university where she taught literature. When I arrived, she met me at the door and pulled me into a fierce hug. I just spoke with Amelia, she said, ushering me inside. Are you all right? Better than I expected, I replied truthfully as she poured 2 glasses of wine. I can't believe Gregory did that. A public announcement, at your daughter's graduation celebration. Has he lost his mind? He meant to humiliate me, I said, taking a sip. He wanted a scene. One I couldn't respond to without looking hysterical. Diana shook her head. My brother always had a flair for drama. But this is something else. We settled into her sunroom, surrounded by stacks of books and plants basking in the afternoon light. What was in that envelope you gave him? She asked. I told her everything. The divorce filing, the documented transfers, the evidence of his affair, and the prenuptial agreement that would strip him of nearly everything. Diana laughed, shaking her head. The same prenup he insisted on when father gave him that seed money. Oh, that's poetic justice. Just then, my phone rang. Amelia. I hesitated before answering. Mom, she said, her voice tight with emotion. I'm coming over to Aunt Diana's. Honey, you don't have to, I'm already on my way. Dad's telling everyone you've lost your mind, that you've been planning this for months. Of course he was. Gregory never met a story he couldn't twist in his favor. Let him talk, I said softly. The truth will speak for itself soon enough. 20 minutes later, Amelia arrived, still wearing her graduation dress. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. She collapsed into my arms like she used to when nightmares woke her as a little girl. Why didn't you tell me, Mom? She whispered. I didn't want to ruin your last semester, I said gently. You deserved your moment. She pulled back, eyes blazing. Well, Dad took care of ruining it anyway. As we sat in Diana's living room, I told her everything: the affair, the money transfers, the lies. Amelia listened in silence, her expression hardening with every word. I knew something was off, she said finally. He was different, distracted, but I didn't think none of us want to believe those things, Diana said quietly. My phone buzzed again, a message from my attorney, Philip Anderson. The emergency motion has been approved. All accounts frozen pending discovery. I showed the message to Diana and Amelia. Good, Amelia said fiercely. He deserves it. Her loyalty warmed me, but I reminded her gently, he's still your father. Maybe someday I'll forgive him, she said, but not today. A knock at the door interrupted us. Diana returned moments later, her expression tense. It's Gregory, she said, and he's brought Cassandra. I took a deep breath and steadied myself. Gregory entered first, jaw tight with anger. Cassandra followed, looking uneasy, her confidence faltering under the tension in the room. Bianca, Gregory started, you need to stop this madness. Unfreeze the accounts. We can settle this like adults. Amelia stood, moving instinctively between us. Maybe you should have tried being an adult before humiliating Mom in public. Gregory's eyes widened. Amelia, this doesn't concern you. Doesn't concern me. She snapped. You destroyed our family on my graduation day, and it doesn't concern me. Cassandra touched his arm. Greg, maybe we should go. He shook her off. Not until Bianca agrees to be reasonable. Funny, Diana interjected. The only reasonable one here seems to be Bianca. You're the one who made this mess. I stayed silent, letting them all talk. For years, I'd been the peacemaker. Not anymore. The accounts will remain frozen until the hearing in 3 days, I said evenly. The judge will decide the rest. 3 days. Gregory barked. What am I supposed to do until then? You still have your personal account, I replied. The one you've been hiding money in all year. Cassandra's eyes snapped toward him. You what? It was clear he hadn't been entirely transparent with her either. Gregory ignored her. This is vindictive. Bianca, this isn't like you. Then perhaps, I said quietly, you never really knew me at all. Amelia turned to Cassandra. Did you know he was going to do it like that? Announce it in front of everyone. Cassandra's voice trembled. I thought he'd talk to her privately. I didn't expect that. Gregory glared at her, their alliance cracking. I think it's time you both left, Diana said firmly. Amelia, sweetheart, Gregory pleaded, you understand how relationships change. People grow apart. Amelia's voice was ice. What I understand is that you're a coward. You stole from Mom while I worked 2 jobs for tuition because you said money was tight. Gregory tried to speak, but she cut him off. Please leave, Dad. I can't even look at you right now. The silence that followed was suffocating. Finally, Gregory turned, Cassandra following behind. At the door, he stopped. This isn't over, Bianca, he warned. I met his gaze calmly. You're welcome to try. After they left, Amelia broke down beside me. I've never talked to Dad like that before. I held her close. Sometimes, doing what's right hurts. Diana poured us each a fresh glass of wine. 2 new beginnings, she said, and for the first time in a long while, I truly believed her. 3 days later, the preliminary hearing took place on a rainy Tuesday morning. Gregory arrived with a nervous young corporate lawyer, an odd choice for a family court case. The judge, an older woman with sharp eyes, wasted no time. This prenuptial agreement, she said, flipping through the pages, appears valid and ongoing. Section 18 specifies no expiration date. Gregory's lawyer stammered. The evidence of hidden transfers also violates Section 23. The judge added, the financial freeze will remain until full discovery. Mrs. Caldwell retains the family home, per the infidelity clause. Gregory muttered something under his breath. His face flushed. Mr. Caldwell, the judge said coolly, I advise you to read what you signed. As we left the courtroom, Gregory caught up to me. Bianca, please. We can still fix this. It counted for everything, I said softly, until you decided it didn't. Then I walked away, leaving him standing alone in the hallway. Within weeks, word spread through our circle. Gregory's polished reputation, the devoted husband, the charming entrepreneur, was gone. Cassandra left him after discovering the truth about his finances. The beachfront dream was dead. And his deposits, his car, his credibility, all gone. Meanwhile, I rebuilt. I rented a small office downtown and finally launched the business I'd dreamed of for years, Caldwell Financial Transitions. A consultancy for women navigating divorce and major life changes. It grew faster than I imagined. When Amelia called one evening, she said proudly, You're helping women find their strength. Mom, you're doing what you were meant to do. I'm just doing what I wish someone had done for me, I replied. 6 months later, on what would have been our 29th anniversary, the final hearing ended it all. The judge upheld the prenuptial agreement completely. Gregory walked away with little more than his personal belongings and a struggling business. I kept the home, my retirement, and the majority of our joint assets. As we left the courthouse, he approached me one last time. I made a terrible mistake, he said quietly. Is there any chance? No? I said gently but firmly. That door is closed. He nodded slowly. You deserve happiness, Bianca. For once, I believed his sincerity. Half a year later, my office was thriving, my confidence restored. Amelia visited often. You know what's ironic? She said one afternoon. If Dad had been honest, he might have kept half of everything. Sometimes, I replied, smiling, people can't see past what they want in the moment. That envelope I'd placed beside Gregory's plate wasn't just my escape plan, it was the start of a new life. In securing my freedom, I hadn't just reclaimed my finances. I had reclaimed myself.